here we go. All right. Welcome to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Diorio. Tonight, Mo Chocolate is crashing game night with us. I welcome in my co-host, as always, Gerard Brewer, as well as our version of Napoleon, Theo Wolski. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good evening, you sexy
Hello, my fellow
mofos.
gamers, comic book readers, and all-around nerds. Thank you for joining us. Mo, thank you for joining us.
Over Pedro, God.
So, Mose, how's life back in Ohio now?
Well, before I divulge into that, I want the viewers to know that, as Matt stated, I am back in Ohio. So I'm back to living with the folks, and therefore they're sleeping right now. It's right now 9:12 in Ohio. So this is me whispering right now, but apparently I'm okay. That's how loud my voice is. If I was talking in my normal speaking voice, y'all would probably have to turn your volume down. It's that freaking loud. But yeah, I've been in Ohio now for the past, I think, 3 weeks. It was kind of a nightmare getting here. My plane had lots of turbulence. And when I get here, the snow welcomes me like, yep, it just happens to be snowing the day I come back, like one big middle finger to me. Like, this is why I left.
Yep. Well, Theo's been dealing with that all week, Fun snow.
Props to you, man. And yeah, for the viewers who don't know, I lived in Las Vegas for like 4 years. I moved there to get away from Ohio.
Such a culture shock. Go from that climate in Ohio to Vegas, now back.
I traded casinos for cornfields, pretty much. So it's just like in Vegas, where it rarely snows, there's normally sunshine, is one exciting city, to back here where it's just dull and boring. But hey, we have Waffle House. We have Waffle House.
Do you guys not have those in Vegas?
Vegas does not have Waffle House.
Oh wow, dude, they're out even in Colorado.
God damn.
Oh.
So I just been trying to find a new job. I'm right now doing Lyft still. I'm trying to find a warehouse job. And when that's established, I'm going to go back to teaching Zumba as a job.
You missed doing
Zumba.
that. I remember you used to post all sorts of stuff on that. So
from like 2012 to 2013, I was a Zumba instructor in Columbus, and I lost a fuck ton of weight, and then getting all right back doing Lyft. So I think I speak for everyone when I say I'm looking forward to having a job where I shake my ass for money.
Well, shouldn't you just get on with Ubi then for Dash Dance?
I should, but I told them they actually offered me a free pass to E3 for last year. But I was like, nah.
Why didn't you take it?
I was just like, I have no interest.
I think there's gonna be good E3.
There's always interest.
Some
amount of interest.
I should have done a giveaway. That's what I should have done. But all 5 years, they were my one way of getting into E3. But they told me if I ever change my mind, the opportunity will still be there.
Dude, take it, Mo. We're going to be there. We're going to do a podcast with Diddy and J-Tight.
I definitely don't have the money now to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we've certainly found ways to get the industry pass. I mean, yes. I'm going under the skies of a bank, so...
I went under the skies of IBM, so...
Maybe.
But, so before we break into, some of our news and stuff like that, so... for our listeners, let's give a look into Mo's world. Since last time we had him on, it was the test reunion. So it was, in some ways lost in the shuffle because we had, J-Tight and Sky Diddy, who are personalities in themselves. So Mo was part of season 2.
Test of season 2.
Along with the winner, Gamer, and Scooter was on there, Cheshka, Big Physique.
Samurai,
well, you made a Final Four, right?
Final. Do you guys still remember the song I sang?
No, I do remember. Not remember the song.
Top 4, not 2, not 3, not 4.
Yeah. When you're walking in the house after.
While they're all conspiring against me in the next room.
Oh.
That's funny.
Yeah, as anybody who's seen the tester, they know on that quiz section, they pretty much took it to you.
I will admit that's the one scene I don't really like watching, but then after that, I tap danced my way out. So that was a grand. I think I had the best exit.
I would think that the one
that's what you're known for is those tap shoes, man.
And I still do it.
I would think the episode you would hate the most is the Fat Princess one.
You have to bring that up, man.
You always had to bring that up. Oh my
god.
So fucking embarrassing. It's funny as hell, but super embarrassing.
It was TV gold.
It was.
I somehow thought a rock was a crown. I don't know. It was stupid. It was pretty funny.
but I mean,
we go from me being the reason why we lost to me being the reason.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Mo?
I think so.
There goes Mo. Mo just froze.
No Mo chocolate.
We'll give Mo here a second to try and come back for our podcast here. I will try. It looks like he lost some connection there, so we'll wait. Give him back here. Okay, so I'll just use this point as a. I'm just going to use
part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting on the Mo,
that'll be slice.
Yes, exactly. We'll slice it and dice it.
Okay. So when we end up with Stadia, I'll end up bringing up Shadow. Shadow is the other service that's in beta right now that you can buy that will allow you to do everything a computer does across all your platforms, mobile, TV, whatever, even with a small internet speed, like 50 megs, and it still works well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Shadow was featured on Linus Tech Tips in December. It's just that Shadow doesn't operate across the country right now. Only about 25% of the country.
Interesting. Hey, there's Mo back. Mo, are you back?
Mo to the Mo. The Mo.
No.
Moved.
Oh.
Is that better?
There you go. Where'd you go?
You're sideways. Oh, there you are.
There he is. Okay.
Hello.
Now I'm on my phone.
Oh, that's fine. All right. So we'll go to dead air for a few seconds because I'm just gonna cut out you dropping out.
I hate my life so much. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Okay. So dead silence. All right. Now that we've got Mo back on our podcast here, we always have some technical difficulties sometimes when we have our guests on from all over the country. So, Mo, you were just talking about kind of like, going from being the reason you lost to being the reason you guys won. So what was it like doing the kart racing and just seeing all those marshmallows? Because that looked rough.
It was scary. I was scared because they said that the food on the first row was going to be difficult. So I thought it would be something disgusting, like, I don't know, camel penises or Canadian urine, something just completely gross. So I was preparing myself for something just fear factor level of disgusting. Mm-hmm. And I go to it, and lo and behold, it's fucking marshmallows. Like, what?
So,
and the thing is, I was hungry that day. I did not eat breakfast, so I was going to eat it faster. And I remember I wasn't even chewing; I was just shoving them down my throat. Because thankfully, marshmallows dissolve in your throat when you eat them. So I ate them, then I zoomed away, and I got in the car. My heart was racing so freaking fast. I'm just like, don't mess up. And then our team was victorious.
So at the end of that episode, a lot of people remember the confrontation with Big Physique.
Oh boy.
And I know we kind of touched about it, on the tester reunion, but I really want to get your take on that because I know you were kind of that one voice that was saying, hey guys, just leave her alone, stop messing with her and stuff like that. So how was it with him in the house leading up to that point? And what made you guys finally just get to that point that it's like, okay, enough is enough. Regardless, we got to just get him out.
Well, it's funny because like the first day, like everybody else, we were all happy and just excited to be there. And then by the second day, no, it was before the end of the day, he told me like in private while we were in the kitchen, dude, I'm gonna be the villain. I'm like, what? He said, I'm gonna be the villain to get the show more views. I'm just like, okay, whatever. If you act like the villain, we will treat you like the villain. Just saying. And I remember the first altercation he got with War Princess when they were going back and forth. I told him after that, like, dude, stop, man, just be more nicer, please. He said, okay, I'll try. Then a few days later, he tries to provoke her after he lost. That's the kind of guy that he is, just for views. Because the thing is, a lot of people think he was an actor that Sony hired to be on the show because he was in other projects that they found online. And I keep telling people, no, that's not the case. He made the conscious decision himself, this grown ass 30-some-year-old man, to be the villain for no fucking reason. So it was that to me was like the last straw. When we won the challenge and just for the hell of it, this girl's over here crying, you want to provoke her? Bro, fuck you. Like in real life, we don't get along. I haven't seen him in these past 10 years. If I do see him, I'm walking right away from him because I have zero respect for you. Even when season 3 was announced, he made a video on his YouTube channel saying he's in charge of casting, he will be the judge, still lying, still being stupid. So
You're kidding me.
I need to go find that video now.
I gotta find that too. That is very interesting.
Sony, I contacted my friends who work for like the tester, and I sent them the video, and they said we'll take care of it. And the videos now has been taken down.
Oh, bummer.
He's on a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Like he lies. He is the Donald Trump of the tester. He just
Jesus.
Oh wow.
Lies.
All right. So let's move into the news because I know one of the reasons we brought you on is because you are the biggest Kingdom Hearts fan that I know.
The biggest. I'll show I know the viewers can't see, but I'll show y'all. Here's the box. The box.
Ooh.
Oh, the PS4. Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
PS4 limited edition. There you go.
So
yeah, the shit I want you to get that box.
yeah, you're lucky you got it too because GameStop oversold them too. So
Oh, did they?
yeah, they
know
did.
that.
They oversold it and they basically just randomly canceled people's pre-orders for it, and then just sent them, "Hey,
Oh
here you go."
wow.
Yeah, it was a bad move. So
Bad from that. Now I'm getting flashbacks of people being dragged off of planes for overbooking seats.
Never ever doing service with GameStop again. Pre-ordering a console. That was a literal nightmare, and I'm never pre-ordering them from their side again ever.
So I want to say, to all of those that are listening on our podcast that have now taken a peek at our podcast off of our new Apple News channel. It is fantastic. So for those people that are now just listening to us for the first time, I want to say welcome to the shenanigans that is Crashing Game Night. We hope that you guys like our podcast. Start subscribing to it. Definitely keep reading those articles through our Apple News channel. It's fantastic. So the first real big news I want to talk about is from the movie side. We have Marvel has announced that the MCU is for phases 1, 2, and 3 is now going to be called Infinity Saga. It's about time they put a name to it. And it's.
I think so too. With but that's kind of the road that they've always been going this entire time. Once they initiated the first phase and then the second phase, I think finally they're able to give it a title, which kind of culminates the whole 10 years, which is I mean, this has been just an amazing 10 plus years with all of these movies congruently like wrapping together and now we have Endgame that's going to end this whole saga, and hopefully to see what's to come. I'm really excited to see what the next move is. But then again, Marvel did say that they're going to be taking some time, which I'm thinking that they're going to be, strategizing and forming their next plan.
Did you see that the Russo brothers came out and said that trailer, some of it's fake?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
misleading
sure,
people?
because same with Infinity War. Like some of the footage from Infinity War was fake.
Yep.
Which is good because I don't want any spoilers, and I don't, and especially all of those YouTubers who dissect the trailers.
Yeah. It's just to keep them speculating the entire time.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that.
So
I've only seen the teaser. I'm seeing no trailers at all.
That's a good way to go too.
I mean,
that is a really good way to go.
At this point, you don't even really need a trailer to go see it, but
Yeah.
Here's what I think is going to happen after Endgame. Here's what I think. I think now that Disney owns 20th Century Fox with Fantastic Four and X-Men, I think the next phase will be integrating them and telling their story, which I'm super pumped for.
It's funny you bring that up, Mo, is because there's a rumor going around right now is that they're saying that the Infinity Stones are going to lead to the creation of mutants.
Ah.
And to go even further to that, there ever since Infinity War, a lot of people have been speculating pictures of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine possibly making a cameo.
Well, he's been Hugh Jackman.
I mean, he refuses to. He said that he was done with.
He did say he was done, but the one thing he's always said, he's always wanted to be a part of the MCU, which he said, like, if I was to ever come back or if I was ever to do another movie, I want to be with the Avengers with Downey Jr. Like, he was like, I want to be part of that. He said, for me, I'm done with the singular movies, but if I can be part of that, I would consider coming back. So
well, and the thing is, on Instagram a couple months ago, he was tweeting Twitter. He was tweeting out, posting pictures of an insane workout where he was getting ripped.
Yeah, and given his slate on IMDb, he doesn't need to be getting that Wolverine ripped for the roles that he's going to be playing. So once again, another interesting speculation. I'm really hoping he, that comes into fruition.
I heard rumors that Doctor Doom will be teased at the end of Endgame.
Oh,
I heard that rumor too.
I mean, since Disney Marvel got the rights from Fox, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see, because I mean, I'm sure there's going to be another reboot of Fantastic Four. You're going to see Doctor Doom. You're going to see another some changes to X-Men and everything. So I could see that happening.
But technically, if they did want to shake it up a bit, Doctor Doom is in X-Men, Avengers, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, and he could be the next Thanos as the big bad, which would be really interesting too, because they, the comics have Doctor Doom going all sorts of ways in time travel, taking over the world, saving the world. So they can be very playful with that character as a villain.
At one point in the comics.
So it would be interesting, yeah.
Yep. So the one thing that we can no longer need to speculate on, that we can be excited for, which, Mr. I've never seen this, so he wouldn't understand going to the Piggly Wiggly, is Bill and Ted.
Do you really have to out me to everybody right now?
Yes.
You sent us the notification.
I can still be a partial fan and still be excited for Bill and Ted.
Partial
even
fan,
if
you've
I
never seen it.
Still fun.
Whatever.
But you're a Keanu fan. But that's
I
totally
am a Keanu fan.
Welcome. But you got to see the other movies though, because you have once you see the movies, you'll understand where Matt and I and all the other fans we are getting a third movie.
Yes.
The Wild Stallions ride again.
And what's even better is like the video of Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. They did it in front of the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was
And they're like, hey, we will never play here, but we've got an announcement. And honestly, is the whole reason we're getting this movie is because of the fans.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't want to put up, the studio didn't want to put up the movie or the money for the movie. And they did kind of like an online poll of, hey, if we do this, would you go see it? And there were so many responses to it. It forced the studio's hand to finally say, yes, we need to finance it.
Yes.
Thank you for officially excluding me from that community. I appreciate that.
Well, you know, if you just go watch the movie, I mean, come on. If at least for anything, watch it for George Carlin.
Yeah.
Honestly, Hollywood needs to learn that nostalgia is big right now. A lot of these games and TV shows coming back, bigger and better than ever. That's the thing now. Nostalgia is big right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and speaking of nostalgia right now is, you know, we've got a couple of things going on with like Konami celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. I mean, think about that. Konami, 50 years. That's amazing. In the arcade gaming, you know, Plinko chip thing over in Japan. They announced 3 collections to celebrate that. So on April 18th, they're doing an arcade classics, which is going to be Haunted Galaxy or Haunted Castle, Ajax, Gradius 2, Life Force, Thundercross, Scramble, and Twin Beast. So, I mean, the only games that even ring true to me from the arcade is Gradius 1 and 2. Now, the other 2 collections, though, which are even bigger, in my opinion, is you've got Contra, which is going to come out in the summer, which is going to have the original arcade Contra, Super C, which was the Nintendo one, and Contra 3, which was the Super Nintendo Contra, which I can remember sitting around with my friends playing that with their big NES Advantage joystick controller.
Yeah.
And then they announced a Castlevania collection.
Ooh.
Which is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, which I'm sorry, I will pay the $20 just so I can play Super Castlevania 4 on my Switch.
Sweet.
Since Nintendo doesn't want to do a virtual console, I will go to Konami for it. You know. So
no Metal Gear collection?
That is, there's the Castlevania Contra and the arcade classics, all to celebrate their 50th anniversary, which I didn't realize Konami was around for 50 years.
No, I didn't know that.
You know, so that's pretty huge.
Really impressive.
So
Nintendo?
Well, and then with Nintendo too is you've got they announced they had their big Nindies, as they called it, their Nindies showcase.
Oh yeah.
And they showed
interesting games.
Some interesting games. You know, there's the new Double Fine game Rad, which looks pretty cool. But the big 2 announcements that were in that were not only is Cuphead coming to the Switch next month, which I really want to play that, and the fact that it was only a Xbox exclusive kind of sucks.
It's on PC too. It's on PC.
Okay, Master Race, go to your corner and go play your PC in Destiny.
That's right. Come on now.
But also, it was officially announced as part of the video that Castle Crashers is indeed coming to the Switch.
That's good.
So I will be picking that up as well.
Oh man.
I feel like your subtotal is getting pretty high over there, man.
Dude, don't even. My wallet is starting to scream with everything that needs to get picked up.
I'm doing okay. I only have Days Gone to be ready for.
Oh, I have Days Gone, Cuphead.
But I have the collector's edition, so I'm getting that statue.
Yeah.
I feel like Microsoft is going down the development only side. The fact that they're now like really stressing this games you can play on any console, any device thing. I feel like that's just them saying we're done with consoles now.
Well, that's a good. I mean, that's a good segue into one of the things we want to talk about here, Mo. So let's talk. Let's touch base on the Project X Cloud, which they want to bring to any device. So laptop, tablet, phone, and the Switch. So I want to highlight them bringing it to the Switch, because Phil Spencer is really driving for that whole everybody can play no matter what you're on. And I think that's a good metric for them because honestly, the Xbox has been struggling. Xbox One has struggled quite a bit. They're bringing out the new Xbox all digital version, the Xbox One S. I don't remember what the actual official name of it is, but that's supposed to be going on pre-order next month. They're going to have 2 new console announcements at E3, which is what everyone's talking about because Phil Spencer said they're going big at E3, which means we're going to see probably the new consoles. We're probably going to get more news on Project X Cloud and when you can start doing beta testing and all that on it. But it's gonna have a tough going because now Google announced Stadia this week, and that is their cloud streaming service that they are going PC, tablet, phone, and TV. Now, if you do the TV, it's going to be on Chromecast. You have to have a Chromecast. You're going to need at least 25 megabits per second required for 4K gaming. How do you guys feel about game streaming? I know we talked about it with a little bit with Paul Roshinsky. I share his opinion on that as far as from a latency perspective, especially with driving games. But how do you guys feel about that?
I don't like it. Honestly, because I tried playing games where you need a good internet and you're basically playing games through the cloud or whatever. The latency is bad. With PlayStation Now, I tried that and there's like a 2-second delay, which is very bad. I want them to emulate the games, not play the games through online. Like I don't want to play like that's not. I don't feel that's what gamers want. Feel like we want something that is like physical that actually will work when we push forward on the controller, go forward. No latency, no delays, no having to make sure you have good internet. Gaming should not come to a point where you will have fun based on your internet. That's what I'm saying. Because that's what got Microsoft in trouble in the first place when they first came out with the Xbox One, always online and this and that,
So I personally would have to disagree with using PlayStation Now as an example. Primarily for the reason that, yes, PlayStation Now was a definite failure, and it definitely required the technology that didn't already exist. Because anybody that had a Wi-Fi connection was always stuck with 2.4. 5 gigahertz was not readily available for everybody, and most internet providers were not really forking out more than 50 megs at the high end. So I kind of feel like due to the technology being back then bad and using that as example won't quite fit for being used now. Because I feel like things have been tested in beta by other companies. There's this company Shadow that's been doing a beta trial for that. They provide a service that doesn't only give gaming, but gives you virtual computers across all your platforms, TV, mobile, tablet, whatever. You could have your rinky-dink computer from like 30 years ago still work well with these things. And I think that's what Xbox, Microsoft, and Google are kind of feeding off of from what they've kind of been able to achieve and kind of feed off of with that. And because they're bigger companies, kind of beating them to it, to being able to give it to the country.
To continue on from there, I do agree with Matt in a way. I think we're at the forefront of the beginning of this this streaming technology becoming like right now it's at its birth phase. So right now we're going to get a whole bunch of companies trying all these new things, to come from you, Theo, the Shadow company that is going to give you a full service, so you can have a strong internet connection, so you can stream through different technologies, so you can play all these games. I think right now time is going to tell where we go from streaming to console.
Yeah.
It's so early to tell where it's going to go, because we're getting all of these different ideas coming at us, to where I think right now we're going to have to see where it's going to go. And I think consoles and physical games are still going to be around
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
I think for a
Well,
few years. I mean, especially for a few more years, until we finally figure out which path we're going in the gaming world, where I feel streaming and the whole, like, you can play from one television or one console, or one, like, kind of streaming device, as an all-in-one, is sooner or later going to get there. I don't know if I like it, because
I
once again, I do agree, like, I'm not big on the latency.
Mhm.
I'm, of course, more of a physical, like, I like having my physical disc of a game, and to actually have it, like, as a collection. But it is kind of a dying we are kind of a dying breed. Everything needs
Mhm.
to evolve, and eventually, something
Mhm.
new has to come around. I just
Well,
think right now
I,
it's like
if it,
very
if it
early.
hel-
Go ahead, Theo.
if it helps at all with the latency question, tests from Shadow, from being in place in California to their servers out in Minnesota, latency for the gaming was less than 2 milliseconds.
See, that's also what I'm talking about. So Shadow is, sooner or later, that the Shadow company isn't going to be the only company. Like, we're going
Right.
to see more and more companies coming out, and then we're going to have to see which one lasts, which one becomes like the next Microsoft, or the big, the big company.
Mhm.
So I mean, I still think that's going to take a long time to see who's going to last, like what company's still going to be able to do, the still going to be giving their services, and then who's going to die out.
Yeah.
That's going to take a long time.
So here's my take on it is I don't think consoles are going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's the reason why is because at least a third of America does not have access to the high-speed internet that is going to be required to run these things. Google came out and said that it's going to take you're going to have at least have the 25 megabits per second. Dio, you said what Shadow is 50 megabits per second?
50.
Okay.
And
Now,
depending on
Still
how much
very
their
much on the
services
low
do.
Hold on.
end, because
Google's
that's like
also
Xfinity's
said
basic pack.
that's
I mean,
debatable.
I only have a 50 meg connection and I do fine.
Yeah.
But
Here's
still, depending on how much they're going to offer that as a package.
yeah. Well, here's the other thing is that with that, they don't have access to high-speed internet. Like companies there are some companies out there like Comcast, for instance, has a data cap limit before they start charging you. Comcast is a
or
terabyte.
throttling you, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to be streaming all this content, which we know things have moved to Apple, or Fire Sticks or whatever to stream all your movies, your TV shows, everything, you're going to have to add gaming into the mix right now. And we all know that the average game is a 60 gig install half the time on our consoles.
If not more.
Granted, they're going to be server based, but you're just going to have all that data being transferred back and forth. So you're going to have that piece of it.
Yeah.
So I think from an internet perspective, we aren't Japan. If this was Japan, we would absolutely be ready to go because that entire country is on fiber. Unless you're living out on the islands, right off the coast where you don't have access to it. But, for the most part, you're going to have access to it. Now, here's the other thing. This is why I don't think consoles are going. Now, Microsoft may decide to get out of the console business and just start going to what Mo was talking about is like that games as a service where they're worrying about streaming, starting to partner more with Nintendo because let's face it. I mean, Nintendo right now with the Switch is super hot right now. And it is now it is month after month now lately, especially since the holidays, it is outselling the PlayStation. But I mean, granted, the PlayStation already has an install base of 95 million. How many more can you sell in a month, you know? But, you know, you're going to have Project X Cloud. You're going to have Stadia. We know Amazon is working on their own game streaming service. And it was announced today in a report that Walmart has been talking to developers and everything at the GDC about getting into game streaming as well. Now, we laugh at that, but Walmart's already got Voodoo, and that's been doing fairly well. So it's not that hard to see them doing the leap from one to the next. But I think you're going to have such a convoluted game streaming environment that, you know, everyone's just going to want to go, you know what? Let me just go back to the tried and true, whether that is Nintendo with the Mario games, Metroid, Zeldas, or you go back to PlayStation with Uncharted, Last of Us, Horizon, any one of those games. And I think it's wise that, you know, Sony's kind of holding back on the PS5 a little bit and see what, you know, Microsoft drops at E3. But just having that many players in the game streaming era, and, you know, honestly, I'd have to agree with some pundits in terms of Google, and I'm gonna say the same thing for Amazon too, if they go the same route as Google, is that, you know, one of the big components of the announcement was that you can be watching a YouTube video, which Google owns YouTube, and in that moment, if you decide you want to try that game out, you can instantaneously start up the game. You know, per the process. Okay. So I think more it's about, for Google, trying to stay dominant as YouTube being that go-to for gaming content. Because right now they are losing ground at Twitch. Twitch is starting to finally gain a little bit of ground, which Amazon owns. So I can see Amazon trying to do the same thing, where if you're going to try this game streaming thing, I could see them borrowing something from Google's playbook that says, hey, you're watching it, you know, this game right now. Hey, why don't you go give it a try?
Right.
So I think it's going to be convoluted because, I mean, honestly, think about this. When it comes to consoles, whenever we've had more than 3 players in the market, what's happened? They've all lost.
Yeah, they've lost.
You know, and you know, the Jaguar went the same way. Sega Saturn went the same way. So I think you're going to have, I think the consoles, I think the big 3, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, are still going to win out over the big tech companies of Google, Amazon, and the bankroll that is Walmart.
So I'm still going to have to disagree with you all, purely for the topic of this to being the primary promise out of this streaming stuff is that the most up-to-date thing that you're really going to need is internet. You're not going to need the most top-of-the-line console. You're not going to need the newest console. You're not going to need the newest computer. You're not going to need the newest TV. So you're saving money. You're going to be able to afford that internet. That you're just going to plug in your Chromecast into your TV, and you're going to be able to launch in any game that you want.
But the downside is that if you've got somebody else streaming in another room, how's that going to impact it? You know, Google didn't even come out and say how they tested it with an Xbox One on the network, which eats bandwidth up like crazy.
But is that on Google or any of them, or is it on the internet provider?
And,
well,
and also,
or singularly on just that little Chromecast stick. We don't know for
exactly.
sure. It's true.
The thing is,
I mean,
I'm sorry. You said that you need only internet, but you need internet and the Chromecast, whatever it's called.
No, so you only need.
But that's
Chromecast.
a one-time purchase. That's a one-time purchase. You don't need the newest one. You don't need to continuously upgrade whatever you currently have in order to run it. You just need to be able to run it.
And
but hold on though.
They're running
that's
about
only
20
for
to
viewing
30
it
bucks.
on. It's only for viewing on TV that you have to have Chromecast. Everything else you can use a Bluetooth control, like an actual controller.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I think when you look at, you know, how much, you know, even 100 megabits per second, you know, on a lot of areas, that's not even 100 megabits per second. That's like 30 or 40 megabits per second. So there's a lot of variables that I don't think they're taking into consideration as far as the overall status of the U.S. market in terms of internet.
I feel like we all just assume that everyone, like cell phones. We all just assume everyone has cell phones, but a lot of people do have cell phones, but they don't have the high end cell
They
phones.
have flip phones.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
there's a lot of
yeah,
people
but
who still have phones and stuff like that. So not everyone will have the best internet. Me, prime example. Look how shitty my Wi-Fi is, to where I have to resort to my phone to talk to you all. What I'm saying is, like, I feel like that's a very mixed, not guaranteed to succeed area, because you're basing your success on everyone having top of the line internet, which is not the case. That's just my thing.
yeah, but
But I feel
given
like
given time, especially when these streaming services are coming out, that's probably where we're going to be. You just mentioned cell phones, so now anyone who wants to get a cheap cell phone, no matter what, it's going to be a smartphone. We're at that point now where we're no longer, when you mention flip phones, we're no longer at that point where, like, oh, you've got a flip phone, or oh, but you've got a smartphone. Anyone who has a phone today, it is a smartphone where you have access to the internet. We're at that.
there's
We're
no plan
past
without
that.
data. Yeah.
Yeah, we're past that point to where it's no matter what it's going to work with. So I think
it's now quality of service.
I think it's quality of service.
I don't.
So I do agree with Theo. I think within time, I don't think we're
Mhm.
going to have to worry about that with the internet, because
I
I
don't
think
think
we're gonna get
I don't
further
think the
and further.
debate. I don't think the debate is whether or not this is going to be an instant success. I think it's more of a debate of whether or not it's a good idea to actually try within this country. I personally think it's a great idea to try. Are we ready for it? I would absolutely agree. We're not ready for it.
Well, you're
There's
in Denver,
nothing in the
so
nothing comes to Denver right now. I will be hit
Except
last
snow.
because I am in the center of the freaking country.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Google has the money for this to fail. They tried the Google Glasses thing. That was a failure. So even if this fails, they will still be in the good because they have that much money.
True, but once again, the Google Glasses technically was a failure, but
I mean,
it was a first iteration.
No,
That's what I'm saying. It was a first iteration.
Yeah, because they're going with
glasses.
the Google Glasses for their AR. Because I mean, like, you got to learn from stuff.
From a money perspective, though, it was a failure. I mean, from a dollar perspective, hitting the bottom line, it did fail. So
but they were still ahead of their time for the technology. They didn't quite be. They were limited to the technologies that they could create for their Google Glasses.
Which now it is more. It's a way more of a better investment, and especially with the application of AR, I can see that working now.
So let's move from failures to some successes.
No, we're all negative here. What are you talking about?
Right. So GameStop, or not GameStop, but GameSpot rather, put out an article over the last week about the 10-year anniversary for some really big games. You know, it's their birthday year. Let's look at the successes that are on this list that I would still play these games to this day and still do. So Street Fighter 4.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Years?
Killzone 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
I would still play it.
Really? 10 years?
Okay. Yeah, it's been 10 years. So Resident Evil 5.
No, because it's Resident Evil 5.
Dude, it wasn't bad. I didn't like the
they took 5. They took away the speed controls when they reissued the game again, or like the remastered, they gave you the choice to run and slide. 5 was they went backwards on 5
for some of it, yeah, but it was still good. Okay, Infamous.
Oh hell
yes.
Yes, please. Needs a comeback. Needs a comeback.
Remaster.
Reboot.
Okay. Arkham Asylum.
Oh, absolutely. Still play.
Okay. Halo 3 ODST.
Oh yeah. I'll play that.
Maybe, yeah.
Uncharted 2.
Absolutely.
I feel like these should all be launch titles for Google right now.
Okay. Borderlands, the first one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't really get into it.
How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry.
And then you got Dragon Age Origins,
Eh.
which I really enjoyed it. It was a great game.
I
But that was
I
when.
beat the game. I played it too.
But that was
was
BioWare
alright.
being BioWare, though.
It was. It really was. It was
Um,
just like it was a different game for me.
and then it pains me to have to say this title, Jerry.
Jeez.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh my god.
That's a
Love
very
it.
good game.
But that's not X2 though. That's not X2.
No, that's what it was. It was X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's the
Okay.
game. So they used like the X2 logo. They used
Needs
it was
a comeback. It needs a reboot.
I feel like that just decided the debate from last episode.
Yes,
there.
so
That's
Yes.
so good.
now let's move and then going from 10-year anniversaries to a game that took what 15 years
13.
Mo 13 15 I don't know at that point you might as well just say 2 decades
Teenager.
so there was some bit of news that came out and Kingdom Hearts 3 is getting a critical mode, which for anybody that really needs to understand that, it is a you're gonna get your butt kicked mode.
I mean, it's about time.
That's what people want.
So, Mo, first and foremost, after playing through the game, how do you feel about critical mode?
Well, here's the thing: is like we live in a day and age right now where back in the Kingdom Hearts 2 era, a lot of people got their asses kicked left and right. But I feel like now, now that 3 is out and we all grown, like there's people out there that beat Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on level 1 using only the Kingdom Key, which is the first Keyblade you get, a very basic Keyblade. Like and get no damage taken. Like we have evolved as gamers to where we want a challenge. And I feel like with 3, everyone can agree that Kingdom Hearts 3 was too easy.
Great.
And I'm like
Agreed.
I'm back and forth on that because I died a lot towards the end. But I feel like it could have been a bit more challenging because compared to 2 and 1, I got my ass kicked a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more.
So
Like,
Jerry and
Kingdom Hearts
Theo,
1 Huh?
Jerry and Theo, how far did you guys get? Because I know, I mean, Mo's done his complete beating of it, and
Well, yeah, but I'm sure he's
reviewed.
beat it 3 times by now.
I'm at the Dark World, the Kingdom Blade, the graveyard, the Keyblade graveyard.
The Kingdom Blade? Get out.
So
The
I'm gonna
Keyblade
be-
graveyard. So I'm pretty close to finishing it. I'm going to finish it. I still think it's a great game.
Yes.
But yes, I mean I've
So I have
already
an interesting question
okay.
for Mo and Jerry. Do you feel for KH3 that in some points the space fights were harder than the fights with the Keyblade?
The escape. I
Are you
had
talking the
zero-
gummy ship?
Yeah, the
gummy
gummy
ship?
ship.
Dude,
Yeah.
the first game was like that too, though.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean that's kind of what I feel like is telling of
I kind of feel
the-
like they dumped it
the
down a little
need
bit
for
in the
the
new game.
critical mode, because like even the gummy ship fights were harder than some of the Keyblade fights.
I had no issue, to be honest, with every boss I fought in space. I had because you can upgrade your gummy ship to be a fucking beast, and also there's actually some after game content with the gummy ship. I haven't done this yet, but there's some after content things you can do with the gummy ship that I've been told is a lot harder. So there's that too.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna take this from me being the outside because honestly, I played it at E3. It was gorgeous. I wasn't impressed. I was
my
not
God.
impressed at all. I had
You
fun.
had
No, I had fun, but I
I'm
wasn't impressed.
There goes Mo. He's gone.
Let's go. No, so I think here's the thing for me is that playing the demo, I didn't think it truly evolved the game enough. It was
I would
still
agree.
that same mechanics and everything as 1 and 2. Now that was just my personal opinion, but I think part of it had to do with the fact is, I loved 1. I loved what they were trying to do with it. 2, I could never really get into. It became a convoluted story across how many games, Mo?
Okay. Yes,
Like,
totally
Okay.
I
agree.
think it was like four of the games
Yeah.
that was split
It's
across.
because one, it goes back and forth with the other games and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
And then-
Vita games.
And then it's been almost 15 years since 2 came out. So, I mean, that's a
See,
huge amount of time.
This has been my problem with Square Enix. So I loved the game. It is very beautiful and very. It's a very tight game. Yes, I agree. They could have put a little bit more imagination or put some additional. I don't know. I like mechanics in the fighting. I think they could have been a little bit more playful with that.
I thought they were really
two-
playful though.
But it's still within the same realm of 1 and 2. They could have added something. I don't know, something else.
Well, I mean, like, so you like
within
trying
the
to say
mechanics,
like to have a little bit more complexity, giving a little bit more out of the player for the mechanics.
because ultimately the game is a button masher.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm talking about is like maybe throwing kind of like a God of War type of thing, giving us combos and maybe adding us to like wield 2 blades at the same time, or a blade in, one of those specialty like items that we could have had on
Funny
top
you bring
of
that
that.
up. Funny you bring that up, Jerry. Is that for 15 years, I thought they should have made an evolutionary jump like, Cory Barlog and team did from God of War 3 to God of War.
Yes.
For how long that
but
was.
This is the problem. See, so continuing on the problem with Square Enix, I think they put way too much of their time in the 13, 14, 15, 16 Final Fantasies that really have done mediocre for the company. With this whole time, they could have been, they've been mediocre. Okay. The Final Fantasy series has really started to die out. Other than maybe their online community, but you don't hear anyone talking about them story-wise like, oh my gosh, 15 was my the greatest story. No, it doesn't have that same.
I will agree with you on 15.
15 it doesn't have that same reverence as like you would talk to someone about a 7, an 8, a 2.
I would go as far as 10. I think 10 was the last really fantastic Final Fantasy
story that people
now
talked about or spoke about that everyone truly enjoyed.
Personally, I loved 13, even though the common argument for that was it was all linear until you get to Grand Pulse. I love the game. I love the story. I love the characters. But I will have to say that 10 is probably the last just really good Final Fantasy game.
They put way too much of their cards into those games and into that franchise, where they could have put a little bit more into Kingdom Hearts, where I think they could have done a little bit more with the mechanics on fighting, and they could have chosen. It wouldn't feel so late in the game with some of the worlds that they chose, like technically the newer worlds. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mo. Monsters, we of course Frozen, but all of these movies came out a while ago, where I think they should have brought in something more fresh, something more new. And like, of course I would love to see like something Marvel-esque or Star Wars, be playful with some of the new licenses.
They did Tron, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
why can't they do a Star Wars?
That's the one thing I loved about 2 was like, 1, you had Final Fantasy characters in there, ones that we all loved. 2, you were going to like way different worlds that were kind of obscure, like Tron, which made the game and the story very interesting. And that was my problem with 3, was like, okay, I know what to expect in Monsters Inc. We're going back to Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, Frozen. I've seen that movie how many times because of my nieces and nephews. Okay,
don't blame your nieces and nephews.
Hey, don't throw them under the bus.
You watch it.
I do watch it and I do own it, but I'm just saying, like, okay, I'm one of the millions of people. Like, okay, I'm kind of tired of the movie now.
So
we needed something new.
Okay, so to that point, Sven, Let's
Jesus.
move away from that.
Well,
But I think
just real
here's
quick,
yeah.
So I hate to simplify what Jerry said, but just so I'm on the same page, basically your problem with Square Enix is that the focus was on more of the aesthetics and failed on improving the storyline or improving the mechanics, really
Well,
improving the
I
experience of the player
so
rather than just somebody watching, right?
Jerry, hold on. I want to ask, and I think that's kind of what he was pointing to. But
Yeah.
to his point, though, with them taking so long and focusing on Final Fantasy, is I could also make the same argument that Final Fantasy 13, 15 could have been hurt and not been a better game because they were focusing on the last 15 years
They
of constantly
already weren't.
stopping. No,
They
13.
already weren't better games. They weren't great games.
No, what I'm saying is
Clearly.
they could have been better games had not all the resources been sucked up into constant redevelopment cycles on Kingdom Hearts. Because I mean, the director that for Kingdom Hearts 3 is now moving over to the Final Fantasy 7 project, which has been rebooted I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
So I think
Because they're still putting their focus on the Final Fantasy 13, 14, 15, 16. Scrap those projects because clearly they weren't making the money that they were.
yeah,
I would say
15,
back
I don't
to
know how many
10.
times that got
Scrap
rebooted.
it.
Yeah.
Look how much work they put into that game,
But
and don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy 15 was a beautiful game. And seeing the bosses, everything, the mechanics, and the whole world looked amazing. But to me, it was a waste.
I'll play the
Because
Pocket Edition.
Yeah,
Jesus.
because once again, it didn't do well. No one bought
No.
collector's editions. No one it did
Okay,
not
hold
do
on.
well.
I do have the Final Fantasy 15 PS4 sitting on my desk.
Yeah, but you got that at a discount.
No,
You
I got it.
No, he
300
bought it
bucks.
straight up.
I bought
Yeah,
it
he
straight
bought it
up.
straight up.
300
Yeah.
bucks. But here's the thing, though. That's
Okay.
because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, though.
Yeah,
So,
but not
A
necessarily
loyal fan more.
You're a loyal fan,
yeah.
which is fine.
But to your point
Really?
with Disney, though, with Square Enix, and I don't know if Mo will agree with this or not, is you have some of these older, Tangled, right? Tangled is no longer relevant.
No.
Okay. Frozen, I can understand because Frozen 2 is coming out. Okay. Big Hero 6, I can understand that because that is still a big property for them. I can understand Toy Story because Toy Story 4 is coming out. But I think they would have benefited from having Aladdin.
Yeah.
An entire world for Aladdin. An entire world for Lion King. These properties that are getting ready to come out that honestly this generation of millennials and kids hasn't seen them unless their parents have forced them to sit down and relive the parents' childhood.
That would have been fine going to more of a even classic titles because we didn't get a lot of classic titles from 1 and 2. Totally agreed. But it's still within the realm of Disney to where they need one. We didn't get a lot of Final Fantasy characters. We didn't get any Final Fantasy characters in 3.
And it was advertised to have Sephiroth and Cloud in it,
which was sad.
So,
and then still on top of that, with the new properties, so many people were excited for it because they were expecting to see some Marvel, some Star Wars, where they have all of these resources to play with, and they didn't. I feel like they were playing it safe.
Let me chime in on that part, the whole adding new things. I feel like the new things that they did add, people just did not like, with the attraction flows and the transforming keyblades. And in Pirates of the Caribbean world, that could be its own game where your ship is your weapon. I love that part of the game.
I love the transformations and the rides. I thought those were I think that's what saved the game actually. I think those were a great addition.
Oh, really?
And you know what? I will say this from playing the demo.
That part of the mechanics and the fighting for me saved the game.
Mm-hmm. I kind of felt like your points were that it was too much on the aesthetics for purely that type of.
Not necessarily. It was more the actual mechanics of the fighting because it's if you get all 3 games together, it's kind of the same. You're still button mashing square or triangle for light and heavy. I would have liked to seen like a combo list, or like I keep going towards like a Devil May Cry or a God of War, where you can switch like weapons on the fly, but also have, you know, a combo list that you can have Sora, you know, doing some quick moves.
So,
like I said, I think they played it safe.
So with that, to Jerry's point, Mo, since you're out of everybody, I mean, I haven't played it. Theo's kind of part of the way there. Jerry's probably 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah.
After waiting almost 15 years, beating the game, kind of looking at how they may have played it safe, do you feel that it was worth the 15-year wait when you look at the entirety of the game, both from aesthetics, the world, and the combat? And do you feel that they ended it like they should have, or do you feel like they kind of cliffhangered it, like some people do?
I feel like I overhyped the game for myself. I will admit that, and it didn't hit my goals all the way, but it still hit my goals. Like when Kingdom Hearts 3 is good, it is really fucking good. And when Kingdom Hearts 3 is bad, it's really fucking bad. So it's a mixed bag for me, but it's still I can honestly say it's my favorite Kingdom Hearts game to date right now. I'll gladly say that. When I first started playing it, like I will never forget that the title screen alone made me fucking cry. And towards the end, like I won't give any spoilers, but I think you're actually close to my favorite part of the game, where a lot of the characters' issues are finally resolved. Like they get a happy ending. And I was live streaming my whole reaction to it, and I fucking teared up. I loved it. I mean, it does have the most problems. I have the past Kingdom Hearts games, but I will definitely say that the whole experience as a whole, yes, it lived up to my expectations. It was worth the wait, yeah. Because the thing is, I know now they're going to have DLC, like you mentioned, critical mode, more single player content, maybe multiplayer. You don't know, because this is before. Kingdom Hearts 2 is good, but that's because we had the final mixed version. So imagine how much better Kingdom Hearts 3 will be with the final mixed version years down the road with DLC. Now, as far as the ending goes, I mean, I didn't mind it. I mean, everyone got a happy ending except for Sora, but I kind of expected it. I'm just like, this is going to be like the ending to the Dark Seeker saga. Sora might die, or something might happen to Sora that will lead to the next game. And they're already teasing what the plot, what the saga for the next games will be. The Foreteller saga, or the or the Black Box saga, which I'm excited for.
So basically, they didn't really really end it like they were saying they were.
There were already rumors. There were rumors the first week because people were finishing the game saying that there is most likely going to be at least a fourth game.
Oh, they're guaranteed to have that. But it's like they ended the Dark Seeker saga. Xehanor's story is done. What happened in Kingdom Hearts 1 has been concluded.
Good, because good, because it is so convoluted.
But then that's the thing, is like Tetsuya Nomura is a sly bastard, man. Like he knows he's done. He's gonna wrap up the Dark Seeker saga, and he's slowly sneaking in the next saga. And when you realize this, I'm just like, you crafty bastard. That's so clever. But
give it another 15 years and you'll have that.
Right?
Oh my god.
It's going to be the Dark Box saga or the Foreteller saga. So I'm looking forward to it regardless. But I'm pretty hyped for it.
So Mo, since you've got your YouTube channel and stuff like that you've done your review for it. Before we kind of close out for the evening, why don't you tell people, where they can find you? Because, on the tester episode, we were everybody was on that thing. So it was kind of hard to keep that going. So why don't you let everybody know where they can find you at on social media and everything?
I will definitely do that, my friend. You catch me on official Mo Chocolate on YouTube, where I review movies and video games, and I will announce it here. Just Dance content is coming back.
All right.
I haven't told anyone this. This is a Crashing Game Night podcast exclusive announcement. Just Dance content is coming back.
Are you breaking out the
Rabbit,
tap shoes?
can't wait.
Are you breaking out the tap shoes?
I will do tap dance lessons as well. Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm going
Awesome.
I do chocolate reviews. I do moments. And on top of that, I have my Instagram, MoChocolate9K, where I post game pictures and sketches and the occasional ass shots because I worship the booty. Don't at me. And then I have my Twitter is right now currently still trying to get back. My original is MoChocolate26, but my backup Twitter is just simply MoChocolate. But whenever I get my original back, I will let everybody know. Somehow somebody hacked me in my original Twitter, and I still can't get access to it. So hopefully I'll get it. And then I have my Snapchat, MannyBoy23, where honestly I don't post as much anymore because my life is boring now in Ohio. But you can follow me on there.
Well, Mo, it wouldn't be as boring if you just come join us at E3.
Oh
just
my
saying.
goodness.
So definitely though, Mo, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, especially I know it's a little bit late for you at the house and whatnot. But I definitely want to thank everybody else who crashed game night with us tonight. If you like what you heard, please absolutely let us know. Don't forget to follow the podcast on podcast platforms like SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play, as well as don't forget to follow us on our new Crashing Game Night channel on Apple News. I want to say everyone be excellent to each other and stay frosty.
Be yourself, nerds. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
All right, I'm starting Bill and Ted right now.
You better. All right. Have a good night, everybody.